Hi, I'm Ruth, Pundt, your guest host, and we're back today with Zoomobile with Kathy Hogue and her friend Don Keesler, and we have some very interesting animals from the Maryland Zoo at Baltimore for you today. I just can't wait. I saw one of them when he came in his cage. Ah, there's my old buddy.
This is, of course, Beaker.
Right.
And if Beaker will turn his head there for Don.
Pretty boy.
Beaker is actually taking off Don's fingers.
He's taking two hands.
Yeah.
Aww.
Beaker is a Maryland screech owl. And the reason we're holding Beaker over the table is because
he just ate
when
breakfast.
any animal gets nervous,
they go to.
he will go to the bathroom. So we don't want to have that on our conscience here. Many of you, today I brought birds. And the reason I brought birds is kind of interesting because the temperature is so high outside that normally we don't even allow any animals to go out of our embassy. And the reason for that has to do with the fact that if you're on the road and you get in an accident or you're delayed and your air conditioning breaks down, the birds or whatever animal you have in your car can, get into serious heat problems. So it was very good of my boss to agree to let birds out because they are the most heat tolerant.
They will tolerate heat.
They will tolerate heat. And of course, Beaker is an eastern screech owl, so he's a Maryland animal, and he's used to heat like this. He's been in it all his life, so he's...
This won't bother you, right, buddy?
It bothers him, but it doesn't bother him as much.
As others.
Yeah. Now, on Sunday, I took Beaker to a picnic on the zoo grounds. And we lasted less than 15 minutes because if you remember, it was 103 that day.
I did.
And Beaker started, his mouth came wide open, and this part down here, which is called a gular pouch on most birds, started to flutter. And it was like trying to draw air in. And it's a sign of heat-related stress.
Oh, my. Like a dog will.
Yeah, like a dog will. So we had to take Beaker back and get him into air conditioning. And he survived beautifully, obviously. But two of the birds I brought today, Beaker and the next one I'll bring out, which is an American Kestral, are very interesting because of their similarities. Now, Beaker obviously is an owl, and owls have some interesting characteristics such as their eyes don't move in their sockets at all. That's why they have to turn their heads, because if we can actually move our eye over to the side, our eyes have muscles around them that allow it to move. Owls' eyes are fixed at one point in their socket, and that's why they have the great turning of the head. But he is 6 ounces.
6 ounces.
Yeah, he's not very heavy. He'll live to be about 15, and he's at the end of his life.
He's close to the end, Kathy?
Yeah, we acquired him in '99, and he was estimated to have been born in '98. Now, when they say 15 years for a animal, they're saying average. So Beaker here, he could live another 5 years, like some people live to be 105.
Some people live to be 105, right.
So it's a great difference in animals, but we know he's old, let's put it that way. Their ears are offset, but they hear very, very well. They're designed for night hunting, and part of this is in their wings, the edge of the flight feathers on the wings. You can't really see it, but it's soft as opposed to a bird that swoops in on something like an eagle or a vulture, which have very hard sides to their flight feathers, and you can hear them coming, whoosh. These guys, because they hunt at night, they're stealth predators. So when an owl is flying down on his prey, it's totally silent.
Well, he will get a mouse, right? If that
Yeah, he can get a mouse. Owls will eat mice, they'll eat flying insects, they'll eat worms, small snakes, other birds.
Berries?
No, they're
Just
definitely carnivores.
Carnivores.
Small birds, they will eat small
little
birds. And it's quite interesting, anything, that they can. But I want you to remember, because it's going to compare to the next guy. 6 ounces, roughly, 5 to 7 ounces. They lay roughly 6 eggs. They lay them in a hollow tree. So they don't build a nest. They actually lay
them in the hollow of a tree.
So you can actually build a box, and if you put it in the right place, you can get owls to nest in it, because it imitates the hollow tree. Why don't you turn your head around?
And you say that they would have 6 young if he was a female.
Yeah.
Roughly 6 eggs.
Yeah, and hopefully they would all survive. But,
and most of them do survive.
Yeah, but a lot of things prey on baby owls. Adult owls, not so much. But baby owls, things that can climb a tree, martins, weasels. Cats, in this area it would be cats. Anything that could get up into the nest will eat the baby birds. So, as with all animals, not all the offspring will survive.
Right.
And then when the baby owl goes out, he's going to, this one's really interested in the flowers over there. It doesn't much help with seeing him well. There. But anyway, so he will, not all 6 will survive. But 6 eggs, okay.
6. Then
they're predators on meat, and they will eat anything that they can catch, anything that's small enough to be eaten. So remember those little things, because we're going to compare it to the kestrel in a minute.
And his feathers are rather camouflage type.
Well, actually, the eastern screech owl, this is a rufous eastern screech owl. A lot of them are gray, but it's definitely camouflage, because they will not go into open areas. And it's very interesting to look at a map, and you know how the bird maps say the range of this animal, and they'll paint it green. I was looking at the map for this guy, and it cuts off straight line almost Kansas, Missouri, that area right in there, almost a straight line. It's not equal to a river, because I thought maybe they don't cross the river like the Mississippi or something, but no, it has nothing to do with the river. What it has to do with is, guess where the Great Prairie starts?
Where?
Right there, Kansas, Missouri.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Right
so they will not go into open space.
Oh, how bad.
So they won't cross the Great Prairie, and that's why you have an eastern and a western screech owl.
How about that? That's interesting.
Yeah, so they don't, they are from Canada all the way down into Florida. There's a beautiful picture of him, you can see.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely gorgeous.
That is a gorgeous picture.
Now, a lot of people think these little things that stick up here are ears, but they're not. They're feathers to make him look bigger when he's really frightened. He wants to look as big as he can.
Ferocious.
I'm going to be a ferocious screech owl, and then nobody will eat me. And of course, I've had him before, so just to repeat the obvious, the beak is out of whack because he ran into a car one night when he was hunting a mouse, and a 2,000-pound Toyota doesn't
Oh my
give.
goodness.
So he is blind in one eye, and his beak is twisted. Doesn't seem to hurt him with a dead mouse. We didn't let him go. Well, actually, Patuxent Wildlife picked him up, and they rehabilitated him. But they couldn't let him go into the wild because they don't think he could grab anything with that beak because it's so off-center. But when we present him with a mouse, then he will immediately tear into it. And he doesn't swallow it whole. He tears it up, but he takes like the head first, and then, So he does have what we call zygodactyl feet. 2 of his little toes face forward and 2 of his little toes face back. And that allows him to sit them on the prey and pull the prey apart.
Wow.
So
very adaptable.
Yeah, and the one other interesting thing about owls, and there are 205 species of owls.
205, that's amazing.
Yeah, and they're divided into 2 things. Barn owls, 15 species of barn owls, which have a very flat face, very, very flat. And everybody's seen the barn owl because they're so iconic. They have, kind of the heart-shaped face. And then every other owl, which is 190 some. And they're interesting species. They're finding all the time that some species are not the same, and so they divide them. So they keep adding to that. Scientists love to get involved in that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm going to put him back, and we're going to compare him. Don's going to bring that up. Go on.
He's a pretty
Yeah.
boy.
Yes, you are. You're great.
He must be enjoying the air conditioning today. Was your car
Well-
very hot when you put him in?
No, because we can't start the car until it's, you might bring that up, Don.
Yeah.
Just put this guy over to the side and just bring him all the way up because he's a little more
And
difficult.
this is our Kestral.
Yeah, this is the Kestral. He's a little more difficult to get out. And he's
I can
very,
see him back there. He looks kind of shy, Kathy.
yeah.
You hiding
Well,
from us?
you would be shy too if you had a wing problem.
Yes,
He
I
does.
definitely think so. Because I couldn't fly
There
away.
we go.
Oh, yes, you're
Yeah.
pretty.
Now you see that he actually does have a portion of his wing amputated.
I do see that, yes.
What happened to Camden here, who is a Kestrel, he flew into the windows at Camden Yards, the baseball place. And now you can see on the side, if you guys can do a close-up on that, one eye is totally gone. So somebody in the hallway looked in and said, oh, he's asleep. He has, one eye closed. Well, he doesn't have one eye closed. He has a totally gone eye. And that was from flying into the window. Well, at the same time, he injured his wing, and we thought it would heal. And he went for a couple of years, actually. We got him in 2003. No, 2005, I'm sorry. And it wasn't until 2008 that we finally had to amputate that wing. It was just hurting him too much. You couldn't touch him. You couldn't touch the wing. It was just extremely painful. So he, again, is another bird that we will keep because we don't want him to try to survive in the wild. We don't think he could.
He couldn't.
Yeah.
No.
Again, another tiny little light bird. He's the smallest falcon in America. And
How much would he weigh? He looks
6 ounces too.
Yeah, 6 ounces?
Okay.
Oh my.
Who else weighed 6 ounces?
The screech hound, but
Right.
he is so smaller looking.
Yes, well, that's because he's not fluffy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what does he eat? He eats flying insects, little mices or voles. He eats baby birds if he can get them.
Same as the owl.
Exactly the same as the owl. All right. How many eggs does he have?
6, just like the owl.
Just like the owl,
Oh,
6
my
eggs.
word.
Where does he nest? In
The hollow
hollows
tree.
of
Just like the
trees,
owl.
just like the owl.
Oh my goodness.
So, do we see a pattern here?
Yes.
Okay, so of course I started to look at this pattern and I'm thinking, why would nature, who is very smart, whether you want to call it nature or God or whatever, very, very smart, so why would they put 2 animals in exactly the same niche or habitat? Because normally you don't have that kind of competition for exactly the same habitat. Well, what's the difference between the two? The owl is nocturnal.
Yes, and this one is.
And this one is diurnal. So, also, this one loves open spaces. The owl wants to stay in the trees.
Trees.
So, those are the 2 differences. And they're the same age. They will live, same age, it was just coincidence, random.
Yeah.
But they will live to be approximately the same.
Same
They're
age.
both considered 15-year animals. And you're just ready to take off.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
His coloring is beautiful.
Yeah. Can you see his nostrils at the end of that beak?
Yeah.
They're bright yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's beautiful coloring. Beautiful.
turning him right so you
He has
can get
stripes on his head,
Yeah.
racing stripes, I'm calling them.
it.
And a blue.
The stripes, particularly around his nose or his beak and his nose, they call them mustache stripes.
Mustache stripes.
Yeah, which is very interesting. This is a he. Camden is a he. The females are not nearly as colorful
As in most birds.
as in most birds, right?
Right.
And so he's very nicely colored. The
He's a
female's
pretty
a little
boy.
drabber. Yeah, you're a pretty boy, and you want to fly because
Yes,
you're
it
nervous.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. Camden is not handled as much as some of the animals because you don't want to take an animal like this to some places, like small children. They become frightened because of the wing. You know, he's a very good role model for places where there are handicapped children, or, you know, children might be mixed in with the classes, to teach people that, you know, you can go on. It's a little bit harder, but you can go on with the wing problem. So he will live out his life with us, and that life is hopefully the full 15 years. He has been with us since 2005, and he was very young. So they figure he's got, you know, till 2020 roughly. So he's well fed. Now that beak, which looks so fierce on him, is great for tearing things up.
Looks like it would be. It's
Yeah.
really sharp on here.
It's sharper, it catches things. The beak on the owl, which looks smaller, is actually very large, much larger than this beak. You don't see most of the beak on the owl because it's back in the feathers.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah,
his
so it's
beak.
very hard to see. Yeah. So what are you doing?
I'm having a
getting used
good
to-
time, he said.
Yeah. He said,
Flatten my wings.
well, he keeps trying. See, now in his enclosure, we do not keep him with a perch bar. We have a very small perch bar. It's about that high off the ground. So if he tries to fly and he falls off the perch bar, he only falls 4 inches. So that way, if we put a high perch bar, and
He would fall.
the potential would be that not only would he fall, he wouldn't be able to right himself because the wing doesn't work. You know, he could flop like he does now, but if he flops down 4 inches, there's no problem.
No, it won't hurt himself.
But if he flops, you know,
From a pretty good height.
yeah, 4 feet, he's going to have a much more difficult problem. What are you looking at? Yes, what are you
He
looking at?
said, I'm looking around to see
Yeah.
where I am.
See where I love the yellow feet. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and they are yellow too.
Yeah. He another one of these ones that has, in his case, 3 of his toes generally go forward. You can see it on this foot.
Yeah.
You know, and 1 backwards. So he's not equal on his
No, the
talons.
footing is different.
These are very, very small falcon birds. They're definitely of the falcon class. That makes him a migratory bird. It is illegal, as cute as he is, it is illegal to keep one of these
As a pet.
as a pet. He's protected by the Migratory Bird Act. So no pets on this little guy, as cute as he is.
He is.
And he is cute. The Indians, however, thought that these birds were very good luck. In fact, they represented spirits of their ancestors. And so the Indians would have one of these American Kestrels, the Plains Indians, tied to the top of their teepee and would keep them as pets. So the Indians thought very, very highly of them. No, you're not going anywhere.
I'm trying.
Hope springs eternal.
Yeah, I'm trying.
All right. So I just wanted you to see the difference between these two
there's a
birds,
great
as well
difference.
as the
As the sameness.
sameness. Yeah. All right. Can you stay there?
But in appearance, it's
Yeah.
very, very great.
He can stay on his perch almost. Almost. Not
He's
quite.
happy.
There he is.
He got to stretch his wings, so
Yeah.
he's very, very happy.
So Dawn, if you want to take that one over, I'll bring the duck. We already have had
A little messy,
a little messy Wessie here. So I'm going to get the duck, and we know he's going to messy Wes.
So we'll
Okay,
make it
let's
fresh for the
Make it
go.
fresh. Oh, you got
Ducky
it.
Wucky.
Good.
Got it the wrong way? Yep.
Yeah, turn him around here, and
There you are, buddy.
come on,
You're
Ritzy.
a big one compared to the other fellows.
Come on, Ritzy. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, hey, stop it.
There we are.
Stop it. Stop it.
Mustn't munch Kathy. We have
Yeah,
something
pretty
for
boy.
you to
Me,
munch.
on those.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. What he's munching on there is a mealyworm. These are the little worms we
There's your
often
little wormy.
feed. You're not interested?
Uh-oh.
Whoa, there we go. Yeah, we knew.
Well, we're looking around, Kathy. We're very, very curious.
Okay, a very different bird. One of the things. Oh, careful,
Come
careful.
on. Sure to get her hair messed
Yeah,
up.
as usual. One of the differences, or one of the things I love about birds, that's his drake's tail. You know, they say duck tail.
Yeah.
Used to have duck tails on haircuts. One of the things that's very, very different about these animals is, of course, this one can't fly. Now, Camden can't fly, but Camden can't fly for a reason. This guy. We just lost the mealyworms.
They're here. I don't know if any fell on the floor.
Yes, they did. But we've got him. Okay.
You got him?
We're going to keep him there. So anyway,
She's
birds.
not the mealyworm, buddy.
I'm not the mealy, but that'll keep him interested.
Damn, they're hard to pick up.
Yeah, they are hard to pick up.
Hard to pick up because they're slimy little buggers.
Hey, what are you trying to do?
There's the mealyworms. Kathy is not to be nibbled on.
Yeah. Anyway, birds are so fascinating because there's so many kinds of birds.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all so different. Now, this is Ritz because he's a quacker.
Ritz quacker.
Ritz quacker.
Ritz
And
quacker.
he is flightless. He can fly really, really, really short distances. Now, I've had Ritz in before, and I explained he's an Indian runner duck. What they do in India is they literally herd the young guys.
I've seen that.
Yeah, herd them to market. But recent science is wonderful. It keeps coming up with new stuff. And recent science has determined that they simply were developed from, we thought they were one of the oldest ducks, you know, before the flight pattern got established.
Yeah.
It turns out they're not. They were developed from commercial ducks. And they were probably developed not in India, but in Great Britain. And then they got their name Indian because in those days, the ships that plied the trade were called Indian men.
Oh.
Because the great trade was, if you could find the container, it probably went under. Oh, well, don't worry about it. Here, throw them in there and see if you. They plied the trade, so it got its name Indian runner duck. Now, this duck obviously was a breed made because he drops eggs. She would drop eggs everywhere. Basically, one egg a day, which is a real good production for a duck.
I would think so.
Yeah, 200 to 300 eggs a year. But they don't nest and they don't brood.
Ooh.
So that was not part of their development. They drop the egg, and if you're not following them and pick up the egg, something else will eat the egg.
Right.
So obviously, with not an urge to nest or brood, these things would have been extinct in the wild had they been a normal animal.
Sure.
And so they were obviously bred for different things. They're bred basically for meat, actually. And it's just interesting what mankind can do by crossbreeding different animals to create something that fulfills mankind's needs, but is not actually, very good if it had to be a wild duck. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
I'm shaking my feathers out.
Yeah. So they're very interesting animals, though, and lots of people keep them for pets because they're loud. You have them run around your lawn. They're pretty much cold tolerant. And heat tolerant too.
And heat tolerant too?
So they're most things that you don't really have a problem keeping them. Now in temperatures like we have today, it probably would have been impossible because even the temperatures in India don't have the humidity we have. So he would have a problem out today. But he's a gorgeous duck. Look at that
Oh, he is
line.
pretty.
Yeah, he's beautiful line.
And
choice.
seeing what I can see, the bill, the way it is underneath, I mean, it just fits so well.
Yeah, it's like I say, he nibbles me, but he can't hurt me. It
not
does
sharp.
not hurt. It's not even like a penguin bill where he can actually pinch and twist and it hurts. This guy, it just doesn't hurt at all. So he's But everybody at the embassy where we keep these animals, this is one of their favorite animals because he's such a character. Yes, you're a character. You're a character.
Is the other one still?
No, we had two of them. We had Ritz and Trisket was
Trisket,
the
yeah.
other one.
Ritz and Trisket.
But Trisket got cancer, and again, another sad case where we had to amputate a wing. And then, because it was terribly tumored, and we were hoping to keep Trisket alive by amputating the wing, but Trisket succumbed to the cancer about a year later. I mean, we bought her a year of life, but they were fast friends, and we weren't sure that Ritz was going to survive when Trisket went because
Grieving.
They were easy to take out because
Yeah,
all you had to do was put one in the cage and the other one
And
would
the
run
one
in.
would follow right in.
And it was so funny this morning when I went to get Ritz. Ritz was swimming in her little swimming container. I think he's a he. Isn't he a he?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether Ritz is a he or she, but anyway, she was swimming, and it's just big enough. It's a child's swimming pool, so it's just big enough that you can't reach it across. So I go around to one side, and there is Ritz swimming to the other side. I go around the other side, and there is Ritz swimming to
Women
one
to
side.
the other side.
So finally, Ritz went over to
You're
where
smart.
the little step was,
Playing hide and seek.
and I thought, by the time I get over there, she or he is going to be all the way over. So what I did is I stood at the other side of the pool, and I splashed her. So surprised, she jumped out of the pool, and she ran straight into her
Yeah, I'm
carrying
not
case.
standing for that.
Yeah,
That's fun.
straight into her carrying case. So
Yeah.
now I've learned how to get you out when you don't want to be gotten out.
Kathy knows now.
Just give you a squirt.
Yeah. Now these animals eat basically insects. I mean, Don's trying to keep the mealyworms contained
Trying to
here.
keep his dinner contained here.
Yeah, which is not easy. And mainly insects and vegetables. I mean, not vegetables as such, but cut up greens like kale, dandelion greens, mustard greens, things like that. They really like that. And then we feed them a compressed vitamin pellet, just like you feed rabbits
Yeah.
or chickens or so on, that you throw out for the chickens and so on. So she has a duck maintenance pellet that she
Well, it's been very nice to have you visit us today. And Kathy, I'm very happy that you could bring these animals. I know you said you had a hard time because of the weather, but we certainly do appreciate what you've brought because you've certainly piqued our interest.
Well, thank you very much, and come to the zoo. It's open on Thursday nights till 7.
And see the new gazelle, which was on the news last night.
Right, see the new
A
gazelle.
baby gazelle.